Good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Thai PBS World.
Hello. Today we're covering the Bangkok's gubernatorial election as well as the Pattaya mayoral election. And with us here today you have me, Claire Pachimanon, and Kuntep Chayong. Also, we do have our field reporters, 3 of them actually, with us today who will be reporting in from location live. We have Kun Nat Bunnak at Stadium 1 in Ban That Thong area with where Kun Chacha Sitipan is expected to appear to greet his fans.
Okay.
And we have Mindra Aja at the Democrat Party headquarters and Kun Chanapat Kamlanghan at the People's Party headquarters.
Voting will end a few minutes from now, exactly as 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So, and at that very moment, we should be able to give you a good picture as to who are leading in the elections with the early returns. And of course, the bigger picture of the potential results of the elections both in Bangkok and in Pattaya.
Yes, exactly. But before we do that, before it gets to 5 p.m. where we can officially talk about the polls and everything, we're going to look at some footage from today where public personalities, public figures, including politicians, as well as a famous singer who turned out to vote. So let's go to the first person who went out to cast his vote today early this morning. We have the footage of Kun Chaiwat Sathawan Wichit, who is actually the People's Party's candidate for Bangkok governor. He voted at Taling Chan district and actually expressed concerns that the absence of advance and out-of-district voting options might prevent some people, especially those who have to work or are currently outside of Bangkok, from exercising their rights. But anyway, so that was Kun Chaiwat early this morning. We also have Kun Anusha Burapachaisi, the Democrat Party's candidate for Bangkok governor, voted in Klong Toi district, and he told reporters that he woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning to pray and meditate before heading out to vote.
All right. And then we have Kun Malika Bunmitrakul Mahasuk, another independent candidate. I mean, many people see her as the only surprise in this gubernatorial election.
Yeah, you actually know her in person. She was a former journalist.
We talk more about her later on when
Yes.
after the polls close.
Yeah.
Because at this moment we cannot make any speculations.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go to Kun Chacha Sitipan, also turned out to vote very early this morning in Wattana district. Actually, he was at the polling station right before it opened at 8 a.m. And of course, Chachat is well known for his morning run, and he brought his folding bicycle with him as well.
It has become one of his signature activities,
Yes.
riding bicycles to and fro from work. Yeah.
Yeah, he runs, he cycles, and he said he wanted to be the first to vote for good luck. And yeah, he hopes that the voter turnout this year would be around 80%. That's what he says.
And then we have at least 3 former prime ministers going out to vote.
Yeah.
Starting with Kun Thaksin Shinawat, and who went out to cast his
No,
ballot.
this is actually Mario. Okay, here's Thaksin.
Thaksin Shinawat
Yeah.
in Bang Klat district. What is interesting is that Thaksin complained jokingly to the poll officials that he was at loss as to how to proceed with the voting. You know why? Because as we all know that he was out of the country for 20 years after he went into self-exile, right?
Yeah.
And during that period, Thaksin was not able to cast a single vote at all in any of the election.
Makes
So today
sense.
he's jokingly said that, well, tell me what to do.
Must be very excited as well. Voting for the first time in 2 decades. As well, we have Kun Thaksin, and of course, when reporters meet him these days, they usually ask him what he's going to do with his political career. But he declined to elaborate on his retirement from politics.
Then another former Prime Minister, Thaksin's daughter, Kun Paetongtarn Shinawat, also went out to vote along with her mother, Kun Ying Putjaman Damapong,
Yeah.
and sporting a big smile as she usually does
Yeah.
to journalists. I mean, she voted, they greeted the waiting crowd, but didn't say a single word to the waiting journalists.
Yeah, she also turned up with Kun Pintongtha Shinawat, who is her sister. Next, we have Mr. Sethha Thavisin, another former Prime Minister of Thailand, voted in Klong Toi district. And he actually left a message for the incoming Bangkok governor. He said they need to prioritize tackling corruption.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Kun Nattapong Ringpanjavut, the leader of the People's Party, which feels one of the candidates, Kun Chaiwat, right? And Kun Nattapong cast his vote at the polling station in Bang Siak Nang in Talinchan district.
Yeah. Yeah, quite far. Now we're going to go to Pibert.
Okay.
Pibert Thongchai McIntyre. I don't know why he's got nothing to do with politics, but every time there's an election, reporters have to film Pibert.
He has always been a center of attention of the media during any elections, either local or national.
Yeah, he's a role model citizen in terms of turning out to vote. Yeah,
Okay.
so there we go. Thongchai McIntyre, a very famous singer, the national favorite, you can say. Yeah, a lot of people, including this generation, grew up with his song, right? So,
And
yeah.
then we go to Pattaya. Then two of the leading candidates went out to vote this morning.
Yes.
Kun Paramet Ngam Pichet and Kun Itiwat Watanasaan Sathorn. Right.
Yes.
And all right, we will go back to Pattaya later on. I think the
Yeah,
election
there's
there
a
should
lot
be
to
very interesting.
discuss.
Is a tough race between two prominent political families, and the result should be very, very interesting to fight.
Exactly,
To watch,
especially the bigger picture that is reflected from the results from this election. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, I am monitoring the comments. So if you have any questions for us, do send away, and I can read it out, and Kun Devchai can answer the questions.
All right.
Yeah, so
Okay,
do send us comments if you like the show. Then don't forget to like the show, follow us on social media as well.
Now we have about just 1 minute left before the
Not 5 o'clock
voting
yet.
ends, right?
Yes.
So for those of you who managed to go out and vote early today, you can count yourself lucky, because at this very moment, in fact, since an hour ago, Bangkok has seen heavy rains in
Yes.
most of the areas in the city.
Thunderstorm
Right.
here as well. So
Yeah.
during the broadcast, if you can hear thunderstorm, then you know that it's raining very heavily.
And that certainly heightened concern that the turnout this year may not match the one 4 years ago. 4 years ago in 2022, the turnout for the Bangkok Gubernatorial election was 60%. But the chairman of the election commission, Kun Narong, expected the turnout to be as high as 70%.
Wow.
But the weather factors certainly has to be taken into account.
Exactly. Well, this time around, there are 4.5 million eligible voters in Bangkok. So reportedly about 100,000 more than 4 years ago. So the last time Bangkok voted was 2022. And it is an important election in the sense that Bangkok and Pattaya are big city, like with very big budgets here in Bangkok. Okay, so we are
now with the
at 5
polling
o'clock. Okay,
closed, we can be very straightforward now.
Okay, okay. Let's take a look at the projections, the polls actually. From this one is from NIDA, right? Okay,
And
let
as
me
you can
take a
see,
look at
it
this carefully.
has always been Kun Chatchat Sittipan,
At number one,
the former governor, that has
Yeah.
been leading in all opinion polls. And as the voting has closed, I mean, we can say with even more certainty that he's going to have a wide lead, I mean, ahead of other candidates.
Yeah, the NIDA poll projects that Chad will receive 73.7%, while at number 2 is Kun Malika Bunmitragun Mahasuk at 12.10%, followed by Kun Chaiwat Sathawon Wichit, the candidates from the People's Party at number 3 with 8.37%. Interesting. Standing at number 4 is Anusha Burapachai from the Democrat Party, and at number 5 is projected to receive 1.4% of the vote, Mom Luang Kon Kasiwat Kasem who is running as an independent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the one of the projections by NIDA polls, a much respected poll, so it's very reliable. No, in fact, all the opinion polls in the past few weeks have pointed to Kun Chad winning the election with a landslide.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And also we do have some comments from YouTube. YouTube viewer says good job. Okay, do say hi to us. Send us your questions. If you're, where are you watching from? Are you watching from Bangkok or are you overseas? Let us know.
As we mentioned earlier, that if there was to be any surprise at all about this election, it was how Kun Malika Bunmitragun, one of the independent candidates who initially was seen as just an outsider, she was able to surge past her contenders to rank second in opinion polls after Chatchat Sitipan. And as the latest projection by NIDA shows, she is really, reaching that point.
I know, right? This is quite interesting. By the way, we do have this website in English right behind me here. So let me take a look. I'm going to show you the map. This is by district, an overview. We haven't got the numbers, it hasn't come in yet. Right. But anyway, let's take a look at the volunteers, because actually today at Thai PBS, we do have volunteers from Thammasat universities who are helping with the early returns that are coming in.
Okay.
I think it's starting to come
Just
in.
for your information, Bangkok and Pattaya are the only two cities in Thailand to have their own local elections like they are having today, right?
Yeah.
Because the Pattaya and Bangkok have status as special administrative areas. So they have their own local elections. Bangkok both have their own executive officers, chief executive officers, have their own legislative bodies to issue ordinances and scrutinize the executive branch.
Yeah, I think in terms of Bangkok, it makes sense because this is the country's local educational, financial, transportation hub. Bangkok is a big city, so it requires more flexibility in terms of running the city itself. The Bangkok city itself has a budget of, let me look
92 billion baht.
That's 2.8 billion US dollars.
Quite
so it's
a
lot of money.
Of course, the biggest budget of all if you compare to those of other provinces.
Yes.
By the way, all the other provinces in Thailand, their governors, their chief executive officers are appointed. They are all appointed by the central government and are put under the supervision of the Interior Ministry. So in short, Pattaya and Bangkok enjoy semi-autonomy in terms of running the city and the legislative activities.
Other governors are proposed by the Interior Ministry and then certified by the cabinet. Exactly.
No, problems and challenges facing cities like Bangkok and Pattaya are not much different from those of other major cities around the world. Traffic congestions, pollutions, environment,
flooding,
cost of living, and of course for Bangkok and Pattaya, flooding is always considered to be number one challenge for any administrations.
Yes, and it has always been a problem. Many people who is run Bangkok is promised to solve this problem, but it is still a challenge in Bangkok. Whenever it rains heavily, it floods.
I mean, despite that, it's very common to hear bold promises made by candidates in the gubernatorial elections. And this time around, it's not much different. A lot of promises were made, and of course, I mean, Bangkokians like us have heard all these promises before, and we and the Bangkokians out there should be forgiven if they are skeptical whether or not these promises can be translated into real changes for the city.
You know what, speaking of challenges that Bangkok is facing, earlier this month, Thai PBS World organized a roundtable where we invited expats and foreigners who are living here in Bangkok to express their opinion about the city, although they can't vote.
They don't have the right to vote, but they have the right to have expectations, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's go to the roundtable. Here are some sound bites that we prepared in advance to maybe you might be facing the same problem as these people. So let's hear them. The first one is about travel expenses in Bangkok and the payment system.
Public transportation, for example, right? And I do see that the payment system here is quite fragmented. I mean, the different channel of transportation, right? For example, for BTS, right, we use debit card. For MRT, right, you use a credit card. And for some bus, right, in the street, they only accept cash. So we don't have kind of, integrated payment system for this, and it's quite hassle as well. And one is term of, affordability. Because I commute to work by BTS a lot. Normally, from my work to my office in Asok, right, I take around 130 baht for one day. And I do see that, compared to the cost of living and the level of minimum daily wage, it's quite a lot. Minimum daily wage in Bangkok around 400 baht, right? So around transportation like this, around 30%, 40% daily wage.
But going back to
the overall transport system in Bangkok, the public one, has improved quite a lot. But as one of our panelists just mentioned, that there is a big problem with integration. Jumping from one system to another is always a hassle for Bangkokians, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next point. Is Bangkok a walkable city? This is the problem where a lot of people are facing, and some say that it depends on the area, but here's what our panelist has to say.
Back to infrastructure and sidewalks, I think that what you said was very interesting. Do you think that, we go on the sidewalks of Bangkok every day and there's a pothole, or there's like in front of our office, if you came, you would see that there's suddenly no sidewalk, and it's been like that for quite a few years, and people are saying that they have to walk on the roads or on the muddy sidewalks. In your experience from maybe your home country or what you're living day-to-day lives in Bangkok, what do you think about the normal infrastructure of maybe the streets?
I think one distinct issue that we need to look at is the lifestyle differences between where we're from, the UK, and how they address the issues of infrastructure for pedestrians. Thailand's a different type of mentality because very few people actually want to walk very far. So they're using motorcycles and taxis and other sites of transportation, whereas in the UK it's nice to walk around a city. I'm sorry about this, but Bangkok's not a nice town to walk around. It's uncomfortable, but if you go to England during the nice weather, it's fantastic. If you were to walk around the town, it's a nice thing to do. You can have a nice day out and do that. But Bangkok, you can't. You can't simply have a nice day walking around Bangkok because you generally get on a taxi or you get on a train or something because you want to avoid all those interconnecting areas, right?
But there's a reason why Bangkok's not a walkable city, because unfortunately, life is cheaper than insurance. It's the wrong way around. It really is. In the UK, if a contractor or
Yeah,
a local
absolutely.
authority left a hole in the road
Good point.
and somebody was injured,
Yes.
it would cost eye-watering amounts
Yes,
of money
yes.
in compensation and legal costs and all the rest of it. Here, how often do we see? We report on these every day. We see them saying, so-and-so fell down a hole outside the house and so-and-so, and the owner of the house has given him 500,000 baht compensation. End of subject.
But isn't that one of the reasons many from the developed countries move here for the sabai attitude?
Yeah.
Interestingly, on this topic, Kun Chatchat, the former governor and the leading candidate in today's election, claimed that under his on his watch, I mean, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration has been able to improve hundreds of kilometers of pavement to make them more walkable.
Yeah, that's why he runs every morning. He checks his own work.
Okay. and he has been boasting that as one of his big achievements. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, the person who runs the panel is Mintra Adair, who is Thai PBS World editor, and one of the participants was Mr. Yu, who is actually our sub-editor. He's been in Bangkok
He's
for
a long-time resident in Bangkok.
3 decades
Yeah.
or more. So yeah, that was his view. The next point would be accessibility. So is the city user-friendly?
The accessibility of the city has increased massively, there's no doubt. When I first came 36 years ago, it took me 5 hours to get to Tonglaw from Siam Square. Seriously. My daughter was in kindergarten in Tonglaw, and I was in my car for 5, nearly 6 hours, just taking her back to Siam Square. And it was like, the problem is you tend to get used to that. And has it changed? Massively, of course it has. It's a lot easier to get around. Is the infrastructure better? Yes. So within the last decade, is it a better city to live in? Is it a more user-friendly city to live in? Yes.
Well, there are much more rainbow colorful
Yes.
public transport lines. The red line, the pink line, the
yes.
yellow line, the green line, the whatever. And that makes the city more accessible. And I love that. So before it was difficult to go from where I live in Sathorn to go, for instance, to Chatuchak. Then, but now it is not yet easy, but more easy than
Easier.
before.
Yeah.
So the problems that all these expats face in Bangkok are not much different from what
No, it's
us,
pretty much
the native
what we're facing here every day as
Bangkokians,
well.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people talked about road accidents, right? So we looked up some statistics as well. The numbers from 2024 show that there were 835 cases of death and about 146,000 cases of injuries from road accidents in Bangkok. So this remains a big problem for the next governor to solve.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, okay. We do have another one. Then the question was, how safe do you feel walking around in Bangkok?
Do you feel living in Bangkok? Yeah.
Bangkok has always been an incredibly safe city.
Yes.
Ever since I first came here, young women, middle-aged women, men, haven't even they've given 2 thoughts to walking home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, it has always been profoundly safe. And to me, as a father of daughters, to me that is probably the thing Bangkok should be most proud of. Of everything it's achieved, the BTS and the Pride and all the rest of it. The fact is that even now, in modern days, a young man, a young woman, whatever, can walk the length of Sukhumvit Road and feel safe and know they'll get home.
Do you feel safe, like living in Bangkok?
I'm from Indonesia, I'm Muslim, in Indonesia I'm the majority, right?
Yes.
But coming here and then, I'm the minority. But I don't feel afraid at all. Even if I have to walk home, like say at 2 a.m. because of work, or just coming from my friend's home, I'll just feel safe.
The problems they are facing in Bangkok are quite understandable, but if you expect the governor to have a magic wand and then make all these problems disappear, you must be prepared for disappointment. because it has always been a big question as to what kind of power that the Bangkok governor really has, right? Whether he has the power or even the resources to deal with this problem. Because the answer is both yes and no, right?
Yeah, to some degree, yes, right?
Yeah. Because in theory, under the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration Act, the city governor is the chief executive officer with the power to initiate policies and run the city administration. Now, in short, he's supposed to be the boss of all the city agencies and all their personnel. So that means he is responsible for properly delivering basic services for the city, from transportation system, flood prevention, and public health to education and public utilities. But what needs to be pointed out is that the authority of the city governor is not as comprehensive as it may seem. He or she certainly faces many limitations. First of all, we need to really emphasize this. The city governor doesn't have control over many government agencies responsible for services crucial to the well-being of Bangkokians. They include, the police, rail and expressway agencies, and other state enterprises. And even in many areas under the direct responsibility of the city administration, its authority and that of the governor can be limited when it overlaps with those of other state agencies. The public transportation system and traffic management in Bangkok should serve as a good example. The city administration looks after only certain portions of the mass transit systems. The public bus and the MRT underground train services that we use every day are under a different agency, that is the communication ministry. These are such good examples of why we cannot expect the governor to be able to deal with all the problems that we have been raising.
Yeah, exactly. That's why a Bangkok governor needs to be a person who is a team worker in a sense. He needs to coordinate with so many agencies. But in terms of running the city itself, the authority is quite extensive in terms of like the city's development, setting priorities in long-term urban strategy, including managing public services like some road, sidewalks, drainage, parks, city parks, waste collection, flood prevention, of course. And he's got to be able to coordinate like emergency responses as well in terms of when there's natural disaster.
And don't forget the fact that the city governor has to contend with the check and balance from the city council, whose elections also took place today.
Yeah, we're voting for 50 of them actually, one for each district.
The Bangkok Metropolitan Council is the legislative and oversight branch, functioning as a local parliament and scrutinize the performance of the city administration. All right. Now let's go to one of our reporters who are ready to reflect some reactions from some of the candidates and camps. Right?
Well, the studio will let us know if we have a reporter ready.
Yeah, Kun Nat Bunnak is ready. All right. Okay, let's go to Kun Nat Bunnak then.
Hello, Nat.
Well, this is the current atmosphere here at Stadium 1 here in the heart of Bangkok, as this will be the main location where Chacha Sittipan will make his speech once the election results are coming in. And just an hour ago, it was raining so heavily, and many of the reporters are waiting here inside the tent, waiting for Chacha to come in. And apart from the rain just an hour ago, there is nothing much at this time because the governor candidates are not allowed to give interviews or to make comments before the polls close at 5 p.m. And as you can see right now, there are many reporters from different media outlets who have been here since the early afternoon waiting for Chachat and his team to come in. And it is expected that Chacha Sittipan and his team will arrive here at around 7 p.m. today, and that is when the election results are coming in, and it might already be clear already as to who is actually leading the election results. And if you look at the chairs right next to me, you won't see many of his supporters at this moment because the polls were just closed at a few minutes ago. So it is expected that the supporters will be coming in later this afternoon as they will be witnessing the vote counting and also to root for Chattat's re-election. And as you may have realized that Chattat has been leading the opinion polls in recent weeks prior to the gubernatorial election today, and it is widely believed by many of the political analysts and critics that Chattat has a very high chance of being re-elected as the Bangkok governor. Not only that, some of the opinion polls have indicated that many Bangkokians are pretty impressed with his performance during the past 4 years. And if we go back to the previous election back in 2022, Chattat won a landslide victory with over 1.3 million votes out of 4 to 5 million people who are eligible to vote at the time. But some reports have indicated that Chattat's team is not really expecting a landslide victory for this particular year because they will let the voters decide for themselves. But regardless, they are still pretty confident that their team is strong enough to make possible changes for Bangkok and to improve the quality of living for people living here in Bangkok. And this is the overall atmosphere at Stadium 1 in the heart of Bangkok. Back to you.
Thank you, Nat. We'll probably switch back to her in a few minutes when Chattat appears. Now let's take a look at Thai PBS website.
Yeah, the
which is
latest returns.
Latest returns. So far, 13,000 votes have been counted.
This is very early returns. Right.
But yes, so this is where we stand at the moment. Chattat is at number 1.
All right.
Yeah.
So these returns are compiled by our team of volunteers. This is not an official report of the returns yet.
Yeah.
The official returns will not start flowing in until probably half an hour, from now.
Yeah, probably 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah. So as you can see from these unofficial returns, Khun Chattat is leading by a rather wide margin, right?
Exactly, he's already leading by a wide margin. So...
And then you have Khun Chattat having the lead, and distant second, Malika Bunmitrakoon Mahasuk, a very surprised, as we just mentioned.
The surprise factor.
And then Khun Chaiwat Sathawan Vijit, right? Coming out to a distant third. And Anusha Budapha Chaisi, okay.
And Khun Anusha at number 4. And Momlong Konkasiwat at number 5th place.
Yeah. The question is whether Khun Chattat can maintain the margin of victory that he got back in 2022 or not.
He got like 1.3 million votes last time.
Yeah, that's right.
2022.
Okay. And that's why Khun Chattat was busy urging his supporters to go and vote, not to be too complacent with the opinion polls.
Yeah, exactly, because that can happen in certain elections. We do have some comments from a viewer on Facebook. It says, good afternoon from a Bangkokian living in Shanghai. Oh, wow. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Before Anthony Belmore, not sure where you're watching from, but you said Chattat's not paying for votes, etc. So the corruption would be very low, if at all. So that's one of our viewers' opinion. Okay. Do send us comments. If we can, we'll read it on the show.
And now we will go to Khun Chanapat Kamlanghan, our reporter at the People's Party, right?
Actually, we're going to the Democrat Party's headquarters first with Stephanie Adair. On standby. If Stephanie's ready, come in.
Okay, she should be ready.
Hello,
In no time.
Mintra. Her real name is Mintra. We call her Stephanie.
I'm coming here live from the Democrat Party right now, and it's about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, the polls have already closed, and we've seen Anucha Burapachai go into the party. Due to the heavy rain, we haven't seen many members of the party or supporters come. But maybe it was because of the heavy rain. But when Anucha entered into the Democrat Party, he didn't really say anything to people or the journalists that were waiting here. So right now, we're waiting. I think we will be seeing who will become the next Bangkok governor at about 6 or 7. But Anucha is a 59-year-old veteran politician, and he's the member of a parliament for Bangkok representing the Democrat Party. So for his campaigning, he actually led with 5 core points. The first one is the convenient travel, clean city, and comfortable living, higher income. And the last one is full transparency. So I think we'll be hearing from him at about 5:45 here, right here where the journalists right now are currently gathered and waiting for to hear from Anucha. Maybe due to the heavy rain, we haven't seen much action here, and the atmosphere is quite quiet right now. I think we'll be getting more action and hearing more from Anucha, and maybe his supporters will show up at about 6 or 7. I'm Mintra Adair. So right now, as you can see, all these journalists here are currently waiting for Anucha to come out at 5:45. So a bit about Anucha, he was also the spokesperson for the administration of Prayut Chan-o-cha. So we'll come back later at about 6 or 7 and the atmosphere and whoever wins. So this is Stephanie Adair for Thai PBS World.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Now, this time around, the Democrat Party had a very high hope of regaining their control of Bangkok constituencies, right?
Yeah.
Because out of all the governors in Bangkok, 3 of them were from the Democrat Party.
Actually, Bangkok has always been that tough.
Yeah.
And something changed along the way. When,
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about Kun Anucha. His campaign slogan is very interesting. Heavenly Bangkok and more.
What does that mean? Heavenly
It was
Bangkok and more.
a straight translation from Thai. กรุงเทพเมืองฟ้าอมร It can only be translated as heaven, heavenly.
Yeah, heavenly city.
To make Bangkok a heaven, in his idea is to make Bangkok more convenient, clean, and comfortable. And that is his campaign theme.
Well, in fact, that making Bangkok more comfortable, easier to live in, has been a campaign promise of many candidates as well, because the People's Party candidates has actually offered something very similar, the making Bangkok easy, right? กรุงเทพง่าย
As we mentioned earlier, that Bangkokians have heard all these promises before, right? Because the problems and challenges facing Bangkok have never changed. Congestions, pollution, flooding.
Cost of living. So yeah, the problem has always been there.
But this time around, the issue of governance and corruption have popped up quite interestingly.
Yeah.
And Kun Chat, being the incumbent, has been at the receiving end of the accusations. Of course, people do not accuse him of being involved in corruption, but accuse him of having turned a blind eye to the problems of corruption and nepotism in the city administration. Of course, then Kun Chat has denied all these allegations.
Yes. Actually, Chat's campaign 4 years ago has a very strong focus on environmental issues, because he actually proposed more than 200 policies during the last governor election. This time, if he wins, it is expected that his work will continue.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's why he has been campaigning on continuity. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to another of our team member.
Yeah, sure. Our next reporter, คุณชนาภัทรกำลังหาร is actually at the People's Party's headquarters, and he is ready now. So let's สวัสดีคุณชนาภัทรค่ะ
So right now I'm at the People Party's headquarters in Bangkok, and I have been here for more than an hour, but I haven't seen so many supporters here, maybe because of the rain, because it is still raining right now at the party's headquarters, and it's raining quite heavily. So also not only the supporters, but I haven't seen key figures of the People's Party arriving yet, including the party's Bangkok Gubernatorial candidate ชัยวัฒน์สถาพรวิจิตร and the party's leader ณัฐพงษ์เรืองปัญญาวุฒิ But the media here has been told by the party that the party is going to hold a press conference around 7 p.m. To speak to the media about the unofficial election results and what the party thinks about this election result. So by 7 p.m. we will see the key figures, the key members of the People's Party holding a press conference. And as คุณเทพชัย and คุณแคลร์ said, many media outlets, many media organizations have conducted a real-time vote counting system, including Thai PBS, so it is accessible via the Thai PBS website, so you can track the votes as they are being counted right now. So, but I think what is interesting right now is the recent survey by NIDA, the National Institute of Development and Administration. So this survey shows that Kun Chaiwat, which is the People's Party candidate, Bangkok candidate, comes third place, even behind Kun Malika, which is an independent candidate. So if the official result is like this, so that means it's kind of history repeating itself, because in the 2022 gubernatorial election, the Move Forward Party, which is the People's Party predecessor at that time, also finished third place behind the Democrat Party's candidate, Dr. A คุณสุชัชวี and ชัดชาติ so that means this is another setback, I would say, for the party that is quite popular in Bangkok, in the capital. But I think what is more interesting and what the party focuses more is the election of the Bangkok City Council, or the SOK. The members of the Bangkok City Council have a duty to provide check and balance to the governor, and this is quite significant for the party, because the People's Party and the Democrat Party are the only two parties that field candidates in all 50 districts in Bangkok for the this councillor election. So we have to wait and see what is the party reaction after they learned the unofficial result of this Bangkok gubernatorial election. So by 7 p.m. we will know, because the party is going to hold a press conference.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kun Chanapat, who is on standby at the People's Party headquarters. Now let's go to another. Let's look at our website first. Okay. How is Chachat is doing well. Again, this is very early stage of vote counting, and the score you see, the returns you actually see here are not official returns, but are returns from networks of media volunteers as well as student volunteers. In fact, Thai PBS has a war room, they call it a war room, but actually we do have a space where volunteers gather to help with the reporting with the initial returns. So if we switch the camera to our convention hall at Thai PBS, you can see live footage of them actually doing the work. Yeah,
and this where
this is
the
live.
initial returns of the elections, both the gubernatorial and the city council elections, are being compiled and reported.
Yeah, these are all volunteers, student volunteers.
And meanwhile, we're
So-
still waiting for the initial official returns,
Yeah.
which won't be coming in until the next
I
10,
think around
15 minutes.
Yeah, around 6 o'clock.
But the official result, can be expected at around 9 p.m.
Yeah.
But we should be able to give you a good idea as to who wins the race, both in Bangkok and Pattaya before that. All right.
That's right.
Okay, as Kun Chanapat, our reporter, reported from the People's Party headquarters, right? The People's Party seemed to have resigned to the fact that it would not expect to win the gubernatorial elections because of the wide lead that Kun Chachat was having from the very start. But what is more crucial for the People's Party in the long run is the constituency in Bangkok in general. Not only at the local level, but at the next national level, the politics, right? The elections, right? And don't forget that in the last election, just early this year, the People's Party was able to sweep all the 35 seats up for grabs in the national elections. And it did quite well, also quite well in the last city council elections in 2022. So the hope of the party is that its performance in today's election would pave the way for a much bigger success in the next general elections in Bangkok.
So in a sense, the Bangkok Metropolitan Council, the number of members in the Bangkok Metropolitan Council does, to an extent, reflect the bigger picture of Thai politics. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a bit about the elections in Pattaya, right? which coincide with the elections in Bangkok. What is interesting is that the race in Pattaya is much less predictable than those in Bangkok, and it's being seen as a contest between two prominent political families in the eastern province of Chonburi, of which Pattaya is a part.
Yeah.
And it's a competition between two prominent families, as I said.
Yes.
One is represented by a very well-known local politician, and the other is represented by an incumbent whose family has a close connection with an even more influential family of politicians in the East. That is the Kun Plum family.
Family, yeah.
So it's the contest between these two families.
The Banyais.
The two Banyai, right? But what's also equally interesting is that one of the candidates that is in the Pattaya election.
Yeah, the incumbent is actually Kun Paramet Ngavishet, right? And the contenders are Itiwat Wattana Sathorn, and
running under the People's Party's banner. What is interesting is that the Wattana Sathorn family is teaming up with the People's Party, which is the country's biggest opposition party. So this combination will certainly pose a potential challenge to the reigning family.
The incumbents, the reigning family. This time around, there are actually 5 candidates competing for the Pattaya mayor seat. But all eyes are on these two families, more or less.
The problems facing Pattaya are not different from those in Bangkok, right?
Yeah.
So candidates have been making promises to make tourism more sustainable, make the city more attractive beyond nightlife and safer for visitors. And the problems that are common in Pattaya as in Bangkok are the congestions, road conditions, traffic problems, poor public transport system.
Flooding.
And the problem with Pattaya with the flooding is that it has what is seen as a faulty drainage system that has led to frequent floodings in the resort. So the candidates have been campaigning on how to address all this problem.
Well, in fact, Pattaya is a very big city. It generated more than 239 billion baht in tourism revenue in 2018. And according to reports by the National Economic and Social Development Council, Pattaya has a revenue of 4.8 billion baht in 2024. So that's in itself exceeds the budget of the whole of Chonburi province, Chonburi Provincial Administrative Organization. So just if we compare the numbers, you can see how the scale of the city is, and that's why it requires its own system to run the city, more or less. Yeah.
So Pattaya is another good example of the role played by the so-called Ban Jai, the prominent political clans or families in provincial constituencies. Bangkok probably is the only province that the role of Ban Jai is not that prominent, but still exists in certain constituencies.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned earlier, that Pattaya, the local politics has been dominated by the Kun Plume family. I mean, of course, we know how influential this family has been both in politics, in business, and other areas.
Both local and national.
National as
yes.
well.
Yes. Also, Pattaya is within the Thailand's Eastern Economic Corridor, so it supports major infrastructure projects like high-speed rail links and large-scale port developments as well. So that's why Pattaya is quite important, and the race is fierce.
That's right. Let's see whether or not the People's Party, known as a reformist party, will be able to make a significant inroad into Pattaya, local politics or not.
Yes. We do have a comment from Anthony Belmore. He says, how many People's Party supporters are registered to vote in Thailand versus Thailand government national elections? Maybe why the numbers are different in this election. So the issues are more local than national. We don't know. We don't know how many supporters are registered because
in Thailand you are not required to register.
Not,
you just go and vote, right?
It's different, yeah.
But what counts is the turnout, right? As we mentioned earlier, that the turnout in the Bangkok governor election 4 years ago was 60%. But the election commission hoped that this time around the turnout would go up to as much as 70%.
Or 80.
80%.
Chachad said he expected 80.
So
yeah,
let's hope that their expectations are realized.
Yeah, the more the better. Okay, let's look at some early returns projections, unofficial ones, by Thai PBS and our volunteers. Currently, Chachad is still at number one by a very strongly, a very strong margin, followed by Malika, Bonmitrakoon, Mahasuk, and at third place is Kun Chaiwat Sathawonwijit. At fourth place, Kun Anusha Burapachai of the Democrat Party, and at fifth place, Mumluang Konkasiwat Kasemsi, who is running as an independent candidate. We also have a poll from King Prachatipok Institute, which we haven't looked at yet. So let's look at the poll from King's Prachatipok Institute. It says that, so the question was, if you voted for the Bangkok governor today, who are you most likely to vote for? Of course, number one at 53.6% is Chacha Sittipan. At number two is 12%. Chaiwat Sathawonwijit. Malika is at third place according to the poll by King Prachatipok Institute at 9.8%. And then we have Kun Anusha Burapachai at 6%, Mamlongkon Kasiwat Kasemsi at 2.3%.
Okay. It's very obvious that Kun Chachad has been the favorite from the start.
Yes.
What is interesting is that the Phumchai Thai party, the biggest party at the moment and the core of the current coalition government, decided not to field candidates either in the gubernatorial elections or in the city council elections. So what is the reason behind that? I mean, political observers believe that First of all, I mean, Phumchai Thai Party doesn't really have any political, base in the city, in Bangkok. So it probably, according to some analysts, it was wise for the party to decide not to field any candidates. Otherwise, it would be quite an embarrassment. That biggest party fielding election and candidates in elections in the capital of the country, and get beaten. Badly.
Yeah, I guess the results from the national election in February is quite indicative, and that is why they decided not to field any candidates at all, because the People's Party won every constituencies in Bangkok. Okay, let's go to the Democrat Party headquarters, where the candidate is about to make an announcement.
Okay, we have Kun Apisit Vechachiva, the party leader,
Yes.
alongside Kun Anucha Bulapachai, the candidate.
ก่อนอื่นก็ต้องขอแสดงความยินดีนะครับกับคุณชัชชาติสิทธิพันธ์ที่ได้รับความไว้วางใจจากพี่น้องชาวกรุงเทพมหานครให้ดำรงตำแหน่งผู้ว่าราชการกรุงเทพมหานครอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับแล้วก็ในเรื่องของคะแนนเสียงที่กำลังนับกันอยู่ในปัจจุบันนะครับก็ยังประมวลกันอยู่แต่ก็น่าที่จะชัดเจนนะครับว่าท่านจะทำหน้าที่ให้กับชาวกทมอีกหนึ่งครั้งนะครับผมต้องขอบคุณนะครับทุกท่านที่ออกมาใช้สิทธิ์นะครับใช้เสียงในการเลือกตั้งครั้งนี้ซึ่งก็หวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งนะครับว่าในสุดท้ายแล้วเนี่ยจำนวนผู้มาใช้สิทธิ์หวังว่าจะสูงขึ้นกว่าในรอบที่แล้วที่ผ่านๆมานะครับเพราะก็เรื่องของการรณรงค์หาเสียงเลือกตั้งในครั้งนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นสิ่งที่ผู้สมัครทุกคนนะครับได้ทำกันอย่างเต็มที่ในการไปรณรงค์หาเสียงไม่ว่าจะพบปะพี่น้องประชาชนหรือว่าจะไปออกดีเบตอะไรต่างๆนะครับเราก็จะพยายามที่จะใช้ข้อมูลนะครับทั้งหมดที่เหมาะสมแล้วก็ข้อมูลที่เป็นความจริงมากที่สุดอย่างไรก็ตามนะครับผมก็ต้องบอกว่านโยบายทั้งหมมดที่เราได้นำเสนอก็หากว่าเป็นประโยชน์
of the Democrat Party has conceded defeat and congratulate Kun Chachat for the victory.
He basically says that he wants to congratulate Kun Chachat for winning the trust of the Bangkokians once again. As votes are still counting, but it is quite clear, that's why he made that statement, and he thanked all the voters and also says that he hopes for a higher voters turnout this year.
ทุกๆเขตนะครับที่เราได้มีโอกาสไปพบปะได้เดิน
And
เข้า
this
มา
comes even before the official results of the elections are announced.
Which is quite interesting.
การนำเสนอนะครับข้อคิดต่างๆที่พรรคประชาธิปัตย์เองเนี่ยสามารถนำไปต่อยอดแล้วก็นำไปเพื่อที่จะเป็นประโยชน์กับการบริหารประเทศชาติบ้านเมืองในอนาคตด้วย
the party's performance in a bigger picture
การที่
in Thailand.
ณวันนี้นะครับมีผู้ที่ให้การสนับสนุนในส่วนของพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ก็ออกมาใช้สิทธิ์กันมากพอสมควรนะครับผมก็ขอถือโอกาสนี้
express hope that the turnout eventually will be higher than the previous one
ให้
4 years
ความ
ago.
มั่นใจกับพรรคประชาธิปัตย์แล้วก็ขอบคุณประชาชนนะครับที่ให้โอกาสพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ถึงแม้ว่าในอดีตที่ผ่านมาจะไม่ได้เลือกพรรคประชาธิปัตย์มาก่อนก็ตามนะครับแล้วถ้าครั้งนี้เป็นการเลือกครั้งแรกก็หวังว่าจะไม่ใช่เป็นการเลือกครั้งสุดท้ายนะครับเราจะมีการนำเสนอแนวคิดต่างๆไม่ว่าจะเป็นการเลือกตั้งในระดับใดก็ตามอีกเรื่องหนึ่งก็คือ
He also says that the parties will still continue to participate in both local and national level.
โดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งท่านหัวหน้าพรรคท่านรองหัวหน้าพรรคผู้บริหารพรรคทุกท่านสมาชิกพรรคทุกคนในส่วนของสก.ในทุกๆเขตทั้ง50เขตที่ลงสมัครในนามพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ผมมีโอกาสได้ลงพื้นที่ไปเพื่อที่จะไป ไปเจอกับพี่น้องประชาชนในทุกๆเขตแล้วก็มีสก.นะครับนำพาพี่น้องประชาชนทั้งที่ให้การสนับสนุนในลักษณะของสมาชิกพรรคก็ดีหรือนำไปพบปะกลุ่มต่างๆที่อยากให้เราได้รับรู้นะครับในเรื่องของปัญหาของเขาก็ต้องขอบคุณนะครับทุกท่านที่ได้ร่วมเดินทางกันมาตลอดระยะเวลากว่า6สัปดาห์อย่างที่เรียนนะครับผมเองเนี่ยไม่ได้คิดว่าการเลือกตั้งครั้งนี้เนี่ย6สัปดาห์ที่ผ่านมาเป็นการขอคะแนนเสียงแต่ที่เราลงไปเนี่ยเราต้องการที่จะพบปะพี่น้องประชาชนให้ได้มากที่สุดแล้วก็เป็นโอกาสที่ดีที่เราจะได้รับฟังความห่วงใยแล้วก็ข้อที่เขาอยากที่จะให้เกิดการแก้ไขในพื้นที่กรุงเทพมหานครก็ถือว่าเป็นช่วงเวลา6สัปดาห์ที่มีความสำคัญอย่างยิ่งกับพรรคประชาธิปัตย์แล้วก็ผู้สมัครสก.ทั้ง50เขตซึ่งผมมั่นใจว่าจากนี้ไปเนี่ยคงจะทำในลักษณะเดิมที่ในอดีตที่ผ่านมานะครับถึงแม้ว่าจะไม่ได้รับการเลือกตั้งแต่ก็ยังคงทำหน้าที่ลงพื้นที่อย่างเข้มแข็งเพื่อที่จะรับฟังปัญหาแล้วก็พยายามที่จะเป็นผู้ประสานงานที่ดีในการแก้ไขปัญหา
City Council elections. He said that these elections is not only about winning or losing, but the election provided the party with the opportunity for it to go down to at the grassroots level, meeting with people and listen to their grievances and help them to find a way to address whatever problems they face.
เฟ้นหาบุคลากรที่เหมาะสมในอนาคต
So the Democrat Party certainly expect to do well in the council elections,
นะครับในการเลือกตั้งครั้งหน้าไม่ว่าจะเป็น
which plays an important role
ในระดับใดหรือจะเป็นการเลือกตั้งใน
having oversight over the executive
ผมก็
branch.
รู้สึกดีใจนะครับครั้งนี้มีโอกาสได้เป็นส่วนหนึ่งของการรณรงค์หาเสียงเลือกตั้งในนามของพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ในนามของผู้ว่ากทมต้องขอบคุณอีกครั้งนะครับพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ที่ให้โอกาสผมได้เข้ามาเป็นส่วนหนึ่งในการที่จะนำเสนอแนวคิดนโยบายต่างๆต้องขอบคุณอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับสมาชิกพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ทุกท่านที่ให้การสนับสนุนต้องขอบคุณคะแนนเสียงทุกๆคะแนนที่วันนี้ยังไม่ได้ทราบคะแนนล่าสุดนะครับว่าจะจบที่เท่าใดแต่ไม่ว่าจะเป็นคะแนนหลักหมื่นหลักแสนหรือจะเป็นคะแนนเท่าไหร่ก็ตามนะครับที่จะออกมาในขั้นตอนสุดท้ายก็ต้องขอบคุณชาวกทมทุกท่านเลยนะครับที่ยังคงให้โอกาสพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ในการนำเสนอนโยบายดีๆแล้วก็
candidates about the 18 candidates to
แล้วก็ได้รับการต้อนรับด้วยการพูดคุยกับเราอย่างเป็นกันเองอยู่ตลอดเวลานะครับก็ต้องขอบคุณอีกครั้งหนึ่งครับขอบพระคุณครับ
Let's see whether Kun Napisit, the party leader, will have anything to add to that.
Yes, he is going to say something.
ก็เช่นเดียวกับคุณอนุชานะครับขอเริ่มต้นด้วยการแสดงความยินดีกับคุณชัดชาติที่ได้รับความไว้วางใจจากพี่น้องชาวกรุงเทพอีกสมัยหนึ่งนะครับแล้วก็ขอยืนยันว่าในส่วนของพรรคประชาธิปัตย์นั้นเราก็ยังเดินหน้าทำงานให้กับพี่น้องชาวกรุงเทพต่อไปในส่วนของนโยบายใดๆที่ถ้าคุณชัดชาติเห็นว่าเป็นนโยบายของพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ที่เข้าไปเสริมหรือจะสร้างประโยชน์ให้กับคนกรุงเทพได้ไม่ใช่เฉพาะคุณอนุชานะครับแต่ว่าพวกเราทุกคนเนี่ยก็พร้อมที่จะนำเสนอข้อมูลนะครับและให้การสนับสนุนต่างๆอย่างเต็มที่นะครับเพื่อให้งานต่างๆหรือนโยบายต่างๆเนี่ยลุล่วงไปด้วยดีขณะเดียวกันสิ่งที่เราได้เคยพูดถึงปัญหาการตรวจสอบเราก็จะทำตรงนี้เช่นเดียวกันนะครับซึ่งก็จะเป็นการรักษาประโยชน์ให้กับพี่น้องชาวกรุงเทพสมาชิกสภากรุงเทพมหานครแม้ว่าตอนนี้ผลการเลือกตั้งยังไม่ออกมาเนี่ยแต่ว่าก็ฟังจากรายงานนะครับของผู้สมัครก็คิดว่าเราก็จะได้รับเลือกตั้งเข้ามาจำนวนหนึ่งนะครับใกล้เคียงเป้าหมายใกล้เคียงกับอาจจะสมัยที่แล้วนะครับซึ่งก็จะเป็นกลุ่มคนสำคัญที่จะต้องทำงานให้กับพี่น้องชาวกรุงเทพในนามของพรรคประชาธิปัตย์ต่อไปทั้งใน2 มิติ
That's Kun Napisit Vechachiwa, the party leader. Of course, he, like Kun Anucha, he congratulated Kun Chhatchat being on his way to winning the re-election.
You're avoiding this. Yeah, on his way, exactly. He's leading. Kun Chatchat is leading. That's why Kun Apisit said congratulated. He came out to congratulate Kun Chatchat, and he said the Democrat Party will continue to serve the people of Bangkok, and he also says that any policies that Kun Chatchat might see useful for his next term, the Democrat Party is happy to support. That's what he says.
All right.
Basically.
Okay, let's go back to the latest returns. Of course, it only confirms the lead that Kun Chatchat is having.
By a very strong margin, actually.
Kun Chatchat, let's take a look at his profile. I mean, it should be.
Kun Chatchat.
He's an engineer by profession.
60 years old, and a very, very prominent education background. He's got first-class honors and a gold medal in civil engineering from Chulalongkorn University, and then he won a scholarship to study in the United States.
He first came to the media attention when he was Minister of Transport under the Yingluck Shinawatra administration many years back. And he's known for his hands-on and down-to-earth style of leadership. And, at one point he was referred to by the media as the strongest cabinet member.
Yeah. Because he runs, he exercises a lot, and he seems very down to earth. There was actually one image of him walking barefoot, carrying plastic bags.
That's right.
In a part of Bangkok. So, but he's actually an expert in structural engineering, and I guess that serves as a foundation of his systematic and data-driven approach to managing the city as well.
One of his key achievements was this popular online platform known as Traffic Fondue, right? You remember that?
The one with the strange name.
That's right. The platform focuses on making Bangkok a livable city, and based on a policy blueprint covering as many as 250 initiatives, which include urban greening and tree planting. So the platform serves as a complaint channel. So just imagine more than 1 million complaints have been lodged through this channel. And Kun Chatchat claimed to have solved 90% of all the complaints.
I guess many of the complaints are duplications of the same problem posted many times. But beyond that, Chatchat's administration also achieved significant progress in terms of social inclusion, because in this year, actually, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration received the UNDP Gender Equality Seal, the Gold Seal. So it is actually the first public sector organization in Asia Pacific region to earn the distinction.
So let's see what Bangkokians in general, view his performance. According to an opinion poll conducted by NIDA late last year, 78% of the respondents said they were satisfied with Chatchat's overall governorship. The respondents rated his performance as quite good to very good on specific issues, such as regulating street stalls, expanding green areas, and general city cleanliness. But he scored much lower on infrastructure issues, especially in dealing with problem of corruption, persistent flooding, and traffic congestion. So when he was asked by journalists a few weeks ago to make a self-assessment, he was very humble. He gave himself only 5 out of 10 as governor. Barely, just past the
passing mark.
Passing mark. But he credited his team, giving them 6 out of 10. Then there are this criticism about his performance as well from people who believe that he hasn't really done any substantial work to really address core issues facing the city. And they said that what he has done so far only deal with what they call capillaries, which is these small blood vessels, right?
Kun Chatchat actually once compared Bangkok to a body with weak capillaries, right? He argued that many of the city's problems stems from the weakness at the local level. This was actually said 4 years ago when he first became the Bangkok governor. And he says Bangkok's investment mainly went to the aorta or the main blood vessel, but it didn't go down to the smaller vessels. So the budgets didn't get dispersed. For example, he said the city invested in mass transit rails, but didn't connect the smaller areas, so people still find it difficult to get around the city.
So in this context, capillaries means local level problems, like broken pavements.
Exactly.
It may sound trivial, but it's certainly a big problem for many people who have to use the pavement every day, right? And then garbage collection, clogged drains, street lights, and small flooding points, unsafe zebra crossings.
Yes.
And so these are issues that Kun Chachat believe that are crucial to people's daily lives.
And he's actually campaigned on continuity, as we have said before. So he said if he won another term, then he will continue to solve these problems for Bangkokians. And, you know, in fact, 4 years ago, he won 1.3 million votes. That was the highest number ever received by a candidate in the history of Bangkok gubernatorial elections. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he can outdo himself this time. Yeah. Also,
okay. So what is the latest?
The latest now, he's leading by a very strong margin. We are still on unofficial returns. These are from the volunteers. These are not the official figures yet, but it says so far unofficially 108,000 votes have been counted. So not that many. But Chachat is leading by a wide margin. He's at 69,000 votes currently, accounting for about 65.89%. And at second place is still Malika Bunmitrakul Mahasuk. Are we going to talk about number 2 at all?
So we need to talk about Malika.
Okay.
She's quite an interesting public figure. She's one of the media influencers now, with a large following. As we mentioned earlier, that she was a journalist before, and she had her own TV show when she was still with ITV, Thailand's first independent broadcaster.
Your former colleague.
My former colleague. And interestingly, she was once a member of the national cycling team. And she's known as a gun enthusiast.
She has a very diverse interest.
But she has been in the spotlight more over the past few months. You know why?
With her campaign promises.
But before that, before the election, before she decided to jump into the elections, she was as I said, she was an influencer, and she took on the issue of Thai-Cambodian border conflict, and took a very nationalist tone in talking about Cambodia. And in many of her commentaries on the conflict, she adopted an extremely ultra nationalist by calling, at one point, she called for decisive military action against Cambodia to eliminate what she described as a threat to Thailand's security. And in one of her commentaries, she called for the decimation of the Cambodian's military and the elimination of its leadership. And she called for a bombing of the home of its Prime Minister Hun Manet and that of his father, Senate President Hun Sen.
This was before she campaigned though. So that was a national issue. But with her campaign, I think the very nationalistic sense continues and is reflected in her campaign promise as well. Because at one point she said that the Internal Security Act should be invoked if she was elected. And she said, and why did she propose that idea? Basically, she says that once the Internal Security Act is invoked, then the Bangkok governor would be able to mobilize all available resources and personnel, including the police, military, volunteers, other agencies, to solve Bangkok problems very fast. So that was what she said during the campaign.
All right. No, she wasn't, of course, the only candidates that made unconventional proposals.
Oh no,
there are,
many of them.
There are other fringe, so-called fringe candidates.
Fringe candidates.
Right. For example, like this candidate from the group called Bangkok Can Fly. กรุงเทพบินได้ Bangkok Can Fly.
This one's
The candidate himself, คุณภัสพงษ์ชัยวิริยะวานิช didn't grab media attention as much as the group's leader คุณมงคลกิจสุสินธารานนท์ right? A very outspoken politician. And one of the flagship proposals of this group in running in the Bangkok gubernatorial election was a plan to import 1,000 flying cars and motorcycles from China annually. And that's how he believes we can make Bangkok fly.
Right,
literally.
So people are going to fly because the roads are not good enough, and
That's right.
yeah, let's give up fixing it and find another solution.
And then another rather outlandish proposal involves sending Bangkokians on suborbital trips into space.
That one's
right.
yeah. And there's the drinkable Sansap Canal projects
right.
as well. So to give you context, Sansap Canal is a canal that runs across through Bangkok, and the water is not very clean. It's known for its smell, and the group actually aims to improve water quality.
Okay. And unfortunately, all these proposals did not strike the right chord with the Bangkokians. So, คุณภัสพงษ์ the candidate so far is not able to make it to the top 10.
Where is he now? He's at number 9 actually at the moment. Yeah, Pasapong is at number 9.
ภัสพงษ์ the number 9. Right?
Yeah, with this is again have to emphasize this. It's unofficial. It's not official yet. We are expecting the official returns to come in very soon now. Once it comes in, we'll see the number quite clearly. But at the moment, Chat is leading by a wide margin. Okay, we talked about Kumalika, we talked about the fringe candidates. We're going to talk about Kun Chaiwat, Sathawan Wichit or Kun Jo. He actually came to Thai PBS last week, 2 weeks ago,
right,
for a TV program.
Yeah. No, in fact, before the surge in popularity by Malika, Chaiwat was always considered to be
the second favorite.
The second favorite, right? Until Malika came along, right?
With the Internal Security Act. Okay, so Kun Chaiwat is currently proposing the policy that I talked about. Is called กรุงเทพง่ายๆ or making Bangkok easy. And it includes about 40 policies altogether, focusing on making transport easier, as well as trade, commerce, having a family easier life for Bangkokians, basically.
The People's Party fielded him in the election, hoping to see him represent a new generation of politicians. And in fact, Kun Chaiwat has a very interesting background. He worked in technology, research and finance, and he is a PhD graduate in computer science from Japan's Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. And before entering politics, he was deputy director of the Bank of Thailand's Office of Corporate Strategy and a senior researcher at NEC Corporation. And he also served as a deputy leader of the People's Party, in charge of foreign affairs, and also play a role as part of the party's economic team.
Yes, so Yeah, we do have a reporter, Kun Sanapat, who is on standby at the People's Party headquarters as well. So hopefully we'll see something from the People's Party once the official returns come in as well. What else do we have? We have a lot of people watching actually, but not many comments. It says also watching.
No, I think it's largely because the result of the Bangkok Gubernatorial election was so predictable from the start, right? So, I mean, we have to admit that there hasn't been much excitement about what will happen today.
Exactly, as well as during the campaign.
Yeah. If you look back, Kun Chatchat spent little time on his campaign trail compared to the rest of the candidates, right? Because he was quite certain of his re-election.
Yeah, during the final week, remember he resigned before his term expired to join his son's graduation celebration in the United States. Yeah. So it's quite chill.
Yeah, when you look back 4 years ago, I mean, even though he was running as an independent, but he was always known as having close connection with the Pheu Thai party. But he believed that it was wiser for him not to be seen as being too close to the major party, right? So he decided to officially declare that he was an independent. At this time around, he also makes sure that he is seen in that light as being an independent candidate.
Yeah, and do you think he achieved that in a sense?
Oh, definitely. Because
distancing himself from the parties.
Bangkok is not the Pheu Thai party's turf anyway. So and don't forget that Bangkokians have different voting patterns when it comes to voting in local elections and national elections. When you vote in national elections, you are influenced by political debates, ideological differences, right? But when it comes to local elections like the one we have today, I mean, you think about the issues that your bread and butter issue that affect your daily lives. No, that's why we didn't hear any debates about reforming the constitution or any other political issues in this election. The discussions, the debate focus mainly on the bread and butter issues of the Bangkokians.
Yeah, but going back 4 years ago, do you think that the political vacuum that was created after the coup had a role to play in terms of Chatchat's election for his first term?
Oh, definitely, because people were kind of having pent-up mood, right? And they want to express their preference for the country's future.
Yeah. So, in a sense, I guess how people in Bangkok vote is different from the national election.
No, even in today's election, which are separate into the gubernatorial election and the city council elections, there are some expectation that many voters would resort to so-called strategic voting.
Okay.
They would vote in the governor elections different from they would vote for the members of the city council, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that there is some kind of a check and balance between the executive and the legislative branches.
Yeah, and also, historically, the Democrat Party has always been in the lead in terms of the BMC, Bangkok Metropolitan Council members.
That's right.
And especially the inner city area, like Chinatown, those areas.
No, but the party has been in decline, we say.
It has not been doing well in terms
both
of
national at the national and the local levels.
Yeah.
So, Kun Abhisit certainly hope that this election, this time around, would help show up the party's popularity. But of course, not to the extent of helping Kun Anucha win the election.
Yeah.
And that was something that was foreseen from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. And well, at the moment we're still waiting for the official returns to come in. On the screen here are still unofficial returns.
Okay.
And I guess There are 3 questions to watch in terms of the next Bangkok governor. So at this point, it's quite clear that he should be able to retain public support to win the next term. But by how much of a strong margin remains to be seen.
Whether he can really keep the
last time he got like 1.3 million
landslide lead
votes.
that he had in the last election or not. But for the record, Chat can serve only 2 terms because there's term limit for Bangkok governor. 4-year terms consecutively.
Yes, that's right. And yeah, also another thing to watch is to what extent can the traditional political parties retain their foothold in the capital, and whether or not the Bangkok Metropolitan Council will be kind of fragmented from now on. So this is quite an interesting thing to watch for this election so far. Okay. We talk about Kun Chaywat, Kun Malika, Kun Anusha from the Democrat Party, who has already conceded before the official results came in. Okay. Kun Chachat currently is leading unofficially at 84,614 votes.
So in fact, we also have another so-called interesting so-called fringe candidate, Mam Luang Korn Kasivat Kasem Si. He also known as Mam Korn, an independent candidate, and he is a well-known energy specialist as well as political activist. And in fact, he is a former executive of the Palang Pracharat Party, the former core party during the time of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. He ran under the campaign theme Save Bangkok, Bangkok Safe, with the focus on making the city a safer city by using technology and AI in city management. But it doesn't look like he struck the right chord with the Bangkok kids, right?
In fact, Kun Malika also talked about using AI to help solve the flooding.
I think most of the candidates
Everybody talks about
using AI now.
But they didn't actually go into details on how that can actually be implemented. But yeah, a lot of people talk about AI. And yeah.
We're still waiting for our reporters who are covering the latest at the various party headquarters.
Yes.
To get some reactions, even though the results are predictable now, with Kun Chachat taking such a wide lead. But comments, reactions from the other candidates should be interesting. And Kun Chachat himself has yet to say something, right?
No, not yet. He's yet to say something. We are expecting to make a statement.
Kun Anucha of the Democrat Party has conceded defeat, and we have yet to hear from other candidates.
And we have Anthony Belmore, who is watching on Facebook, says he's watching from Bangkok, Minburi. You're actually in Thailand. That's nice. Is it raining over there? Has the rain stopped? Because as we were starting the live broadcast, it rained so heavily that we can hear thunderstorm in the studio. So
Rain is the real spoiler today, right?
Yeah.
First, we certainly we know it will have effect on the turnout, and then all the parties that hope to either celebrate or to really have some kind of gatherings in the aftermath of the election were certainly disappointed with the low turnout of the supporters because of the rain.
Just like Nat says, they've prepared many shares at Stadium 1 in Ban That Thong. Stadium 1 Ban That Thong is actually close to the National Stadium. You know, MBK, if you're a foreigner visiting Bangkok, you would know the area quite well. It's where everybody goes to shop. So, again, if you've just joined us, we're covering the Bangkok Gubernatorial election, as well as the election for the members of Bangkok Metropolitan Council, and Pattaya is voting for its mayor as well as
city
as
council
the city
members
council.
as well. Right.
Yes, and there are 50 members of the Bangkok Metropolitan Council. We're looking at the scores today. Yeah, and a lot of people are actually 100,000 more people are eligible to vote this year, so more than 4 years ago. It's around 4.5 million eligible voters in Bangkok, but we still need to see how many people go out to vote. I mean, the weather was very hot during the day, and then it started to rain in the afternoon. So both the heat and the rain can discourage people from leaving their homes.
You know, it's interesting that the elections, both for the governor and for the city councils and for the mayor in Pattaya, as well as the city council in Pattaya, took place on the same day, right?
Yeah.
Even
Does that
though-
make it cheaper? No.
That is because that makes it even more interesting if we try to look into the problems that the two cities are facing, the challenges and the problems, which we believe are quite common or even similar in many respects. And that's why basically the candidates in both elections in both cities have focused a lot on very similar issues.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at some of the issues that face the two cities.
Yeah.
Traffic congestion, right, as we have been
Same.
saying, right? Because both cities struggle with chronic traffic, inadequate public transport, and road management.
Yeah.
And environment, okay, another big problem: air pollution, waste management, and public space.
Yeah. These are all problems that comes with higher concentration
That's
of
right.
population.
Okay, because the two cities have the same problem of growing too fast, uncontrolled in many aspects, right? And then there are problems with flooding and infrastructure. And Pattaya is a seaside resort, but it faces frequent floodings. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's, it's unbelievable. And for Bangkok, it's actually, it's a crowded city. Bangkok has an average population density of around 3,500 people per square kilometer. So it's quite a lot. But we do have SkyTrains and MRT, which is the underground. But still.
Yeah, and then both Bangkok and Pattaya also have problems with corruption and transparency. And voters in both elections are demanding greater transparency in procurement, budgeting, and local administration. So, toward the end of the campaign, the issue of corruption has just popped up, both in Bangkok and in Pattaya. In Bangkok, the corruption centers on the appointments of senior position in many districts in Bangkok. And Kun Chat, as we said earlier, was accused of turning a blind eye to this problem.
Actually, every governor of Bangkok faced this sort of accusation about corruption on different issues, right? Other appointments, there was this issue about sports equipment in the park, remember? So it has always been there. I guess it comes with the big city. Just look at some facts and figures. According to official data released by the BMA, the total budget for this year's gubernatorial election is estimated at 294.1 million baht, which is a significant rise, approximately 86 million baht over the 2022 elections.
Okay, now let's go back to the latest returns.
Okay, the latest returns, we're still at the unofficial figures from our network of volunteers. Kun Chat is still at number one by a very wide margin. He's now at 94,692 votes, while at number two, Kun Malika Bunmi Trakul Mahasuk is at 19,364 votes. Yeah. And at third place is Kun Chaiwat Sathawon Wichit. Okay. And if you're watching live, do tell us where you're watching from. Is it raining where you are? Have you been to Bangkok? Or the rest of it? Or if you have any questions for us about Bangkok, do ask away.
Okay, as we mentioned earlier, that the official result of the gubernatorial elections and the city council elections will not be known before 9 p.m.
Okay.
And we won't have to wait that long because the
is
return
quite
so
clear.
far is quite a good,
It's-
very good indication as to who will win this race.
In addition to that, the Democrat Party has already conceded and declared unofficially
Okay.
that Kun Chachat has won. So, yeah.
So 4 more years for Kun Chachat.
Looks like it.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching our live stream. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like Thai PBS World on whichever platform you're watching from. And we do have a website as well, thaipbsworld.com, if you want to follow the news and analyses about Thailand and the region. So for tonight, thank you very much for joining us. Have a good weekend.
Okay, good night.